When it comes to half-ton pickup trucks, the Ram 1500 has consistently been one of the top-selling models here in America, with Ram doing roughly about 500,000 sales every year. Now, back in 2018, we saw Ram really raise the bar when they introduced an all-new 5th generation. However, since then, we have seen a plethora of new versions come out, from the Toyota Tundra to the updated F-150 to, of course, the twins from General Motors. Now, for 2025, the Ram is getting its first full refresh that includes new styling in the front. It's got an all-new twin-turbo inline 6 under the hood, replacing the old V8s, and on the inside we have an updated infotainment system with a larger 14.5-inch touchscreen. So for those of you who have been looking for a new half-ton pickup truck but want something that's a little bit different and something that offers a lot more power than its rivals, how does the 2025 Ram 1500 Rebel stack up? Stay tuned to find out. So for 2025, we are seeing a pretty heavy mid-cycle refresh for the Ram. Before we start talking about the subtle styling differences, let me go ahead and pop the hood and show you guys what's powering this thing, because that is the big story for 2025, is the fact that the Hemi V8 is now gone. It's been replaced by 2 versions of a twin turbocharged inline 6. Now, underneath the hood of this Rebel version, which is kind of like the off-road oriented mid-trim, you're gonna find the standard output version of the Hurricane 3-liter twin turbocharged direct injection inline 6. So again, this is replacing the old 5.7-liter Hemi V8 with the e-torque mild hybrid system. This engine, however, does not have any electrification, so there is no e-torque mild hybrid system. Ram basically said it wasn't necessary for this application. But with 2 turbochargers, which are a mono-scroll design, and stuffing it with up to 22 pounds of boost pressure, this motor here produces 420 horsepower and 469 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you're keeping score, that's roughly about 25 more horsepower and almost 60 more pound-feet of torque versus the old 5.7-liter Hemi V8. You can still get the base Pentastar V6, making 305 horsepower. That does have a mild hybrid e-torque system. The other engine option is the high-output version of this motor here, which we'll save for a different review on the tungsten trim. That will definitely make the most power in the half-ton pickup truck segment in terms of not a supercharged V8 engine option. Obviously, the Hellcat motor from the TRX is gone. However, you will be able to get an RHO version, which stands for apparently really high output. That'll essentially have the high output twin turbo 6 with some of the off-road hardware from the old Ram TRX. It all goes out through an 8-speed torque flight automatic transmission, and the Rebel here comes standard with full-time 4-wheel drive with a 2-speed transfer case and a locking rear differential. Again, this is the more off-road oriented version. Sadly, I don't have fuel economy figures yet for this engine, but Ram is going to be targeting better fuel economy, of course, versus the old 5.7-liter V8. And the company also claims that they have extensively tested this thing for durability, and they're confident that it will, again, be able to deliver the kind of performance and capability and longevity that pickup truck buyers demand. Now, we don't have a 0 to 60 time for this model here. I'll have to test it out when I get one out on the road. We also don't have final tow figures for this particular version here, but Ram says this engine should tow just shy of 12,000 pounds, and it should carry up to 2,300 pounds of payload in the bed. We also don't have the final curb weight figures of this truck, but I'm going to estimate it'll probably be around 6,000 pounds. But let's go ahead and close up this hood and talk about the exterior styling. Now, first of all, you're probably noticing on the hood of the truck, on the Rebel version, it's got some badging on it. It says 1500 SST, which stands for straight 6 turbo. There's also some functional, it looks like functional hood vents on the Rebel, which is included on this particular trim. And overall, when you look at the styling of this vehicle, you can see my particular test truck is painted in hydro blue. It's a really nice blue exterior color, and it's got some unique styling elements. First of all, the grille has been updated. It's been enlarged. It has a little bit larger intake openings. The Ram logo, as you can see, has been adjusted in terms of the positioning, and it also has some new script. There's a front camera system. There's a full 360 camera around this truck. And then all Ram 1500s get these LED headlights. So multi-reflector, low and high beam LED headlights with an incandescent turn signal. And then on the Rebel, you also get LED fog lights. You also get the steel bumpers with the front tow hook. So again, this is the more off-road oriented model, and it has a more beefy front end to be able to take the abuse. The headlights, as you can see, they are LEDs, whereas before you had a halogen headlight on the base trim. If you guys go for the top trims, you'll actually have a projector style LED, which are adaptive and offer like an animated light signature. That is not available on the Rebel version of the Ram. You can see underneath here, you do have a little bit of a more or less intrusive front skirt, so you have improved approach angles. This truck here has about a 1-inch suspension lift, but you can also get it with the air suspension, which this truck has. It's a class exclusive feature, a feature you can't get on a lot of the Ram's competitors. Now, moving around the side profile of the Rebel, you can see the Rebel nameplate has been around for about a decade. And remember, this is kind of like Ram's answer to a TRD Off-Road Tundra or a Tremor F-150. It again gives you some unique upgrades here if you guys plan to go off-roading. First of all, the trim around here is non-painted to allow for more durability. The front bumper, like I mentioned, is steel. You have these 18-inch black finish alloy wheels riding on a 275/70 R18 Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tire. This is actually a 33-inch tall all-terrain tire. Again, it's part of the reason why you get a little bit more ground clearance. You have Bilstein shocks for this model that allow it to have more capability off-road. And then with the air suspension that this particular one has, it's able to raise and lower the truck up to 4 inches from like 6.7 inches when it's on its access height, all the way up to 10.7 inches of ground clearance when you have it in its off-road height. You can see this model here also has the big tow mirrors. These were introduced last year. It has an integrated turn signal. It's got, again, blind spot monitoring. These are also power folding. There's a little camera underneath here. The Rebel also includes features like black painted door handles. You have black window trim. This model here also is, it has the panoramic sunroof. That's usually a $1,500 upcharge, although we don't know the actual pricing of the updated Ram. You can see over here on the side, it shows the Ram badging here. And then back here along the rest of the side profile, let me back up and show you guys the side. This truck here is around 232 inches long. It has just shy of a 145-inch long wheelbase, and that's because this is the crew cab configuration with the 5'7" long bed. I believe on other trims, you can get a 6'4" bed. I'm not sure if you can get that longer bed on the Rebel version of the truck. It would just hurt its off-road ability. And then looking at the rear of the Ram Rebel, you can see the design has been slightly tweaked. There's a new Ram badge here at the back that kind of spells out Ram as opposed to having just the horns. You can still get it with the barn door style split multifunction tailgate, which will remove the Ram badge and just put the Ram head instead for the logo. You also have these graphics here, which I think looks really good with the hydro blue exterior. The standard output engine, as you can see, still includes the true dual exhaust system with the 3-inch polished tips, and you also get a full-size spare. In terms of towing, you can see you have your usual connectors here for accessory cameras, your usual 7-pin connector, and then a lot of Rams always have this kind of feature where you can pull that down. It allows short people like myself to obviously get into the bed. It's a really nice touch for those of you who need to get into the bed of the truck. Now, in terms of getting back here, you can see there's a new power tailgate feature, which has obstacle detection. So if you have something in the way, it won't actually come down. It also has a power up feature. So all you have to do is just hit the button. That'll also close the tailgate for you, or you can just kind of kick the tailgate down and it'll also start to close for you. Now you can see my test truck here has the spray-in bed liner. And again, I don't have final payload capacities, but maximum payload Ram says is 2,300 pounds. Probably not this model here. You can see it has it has a 400-volt outlet back here, although on the high output versions on the top trims, it will be able to supply up to 2 kilowatts of power. Again, not as good as some hybrid trucks, but this is not, hybrid system. You have tie-down hooks, you have LED lighting back here, and overall you can see the bed is certainly a very usable mount. And again, to close the tailgate, you just have to kind of push it up slightly as well, and then also will close up the tailgate for you. So the exterior styling changes on the 2025 Ram are pretty minimal, but what about the interior? This is where Ram definitely spent some bucks here to give you an interior that feels a lot more upscale and techy versus some of its rivals. Before we get inside, however, let me show you guys the key fob. You can see this is the intelligent access key that comes standard on this Rebel trim here. You can see it spells out Ram on the back of the fob. You have buttons here for unlock, lock. You can also power open the tailgate, and you can also lower the air suspension and remote start it, and also activate the panic function. Ram also now offers your phone as a key in addition to a digital credit card key card. If you guys don't want to carry around your phone or your traditional key, that is also if you guys are owners of the vehicle where you can access the truck. Now you can see there's a traditional door handle here. If I touch that area there, that locks the truck. It's already locked. The mirrors also electrically fold in. Touch the back of the door handle, you can see that will also unlock the truck for you. Now my test truck has this really interesting, almost Superman-like color combination with the hydro blue and the ruby red and black interior, which has kind of like a two-tone of a leatherette material and a cloth material. You can see it also has some contrasting stitching there, along with the Rebel badges. These seats definitely look a lot more aggressive and sporty And they also adjust in 12 different ways. The seats are also heated, and you also get 2-person memory adjustment. If you guys want more luxury, Ram basically goes all the way up to the tungsten trim, where you can basically get 24-way adjustable seats with massage. Obviously, you can't get that on the Rebel trim. In terms of the door panel materials, you can see there's a soft touch injection molded plastic here. There's some carbon fiber look trim, some nice little textured leatherette material here, nice padded area over here with the contrast stitching. You have a aluminum accented door handle, although it feels plastic but covered with like a silver painted plastic. Down here you can see there's additional storage. This model also has the Harman Kardon Premium 19 speaker stereo, which sounds good, but there's an even better sounding system from Klipsch that has 24 speakers in the upper tungsten trim. Down here you can see you have door pocket storage. It's all hard touch plastic, but again, everything seems really well done. The window controls are one touch up down for the front, not for the rear, however, and then you have your controls, of course, for your door locks and your power mirror controls. Now, the Rebel also doesn't include any kind of power assisted running boards or any kind of running boards. You can, I believe, get like an off-road step bar from the dealer, if I'm mistaken. And you can see there's a nice little grab handle here to kind of hoist myself in to get into the truck. Now, I do have it in its normal setting right now for the ride height. You can lower it to an aero or an access setting if you'd like, which will lower the car by, or the truck by about 2 inches as I get in and shut the door. The door has a nice solid sounding thunk. Remember, this is built on the same body on frame, fully boxed frame that we first saw on this truck back in 2018. Now, starting the truck up, you can see start stop button is here. And when you turn on the truck, it has basically a traditional starter noise, because remember, this is not a hybrid or a mild hybrid. In terms of the engine, doesn't really have much in terms of sound, but it does have that inherent straight six smoothness. And I think that's what's really gonna matter for a lot of people looking in this segment. It's got a really great, powertrain with twin turbos, so I'm looking forward to driving this truck. Now, looking at the rest of the interior, you can see, I must admit, for a Rebel trim, not the highest trim, obviously, there are some pretty nice materials here. Obviously, the door panel we've talked about, but over on the dash, you can see there's actual leather with real stitching along the entire upper portion of the dash. I thought this was only gonna be reserved for the tungsten or the limited or the Laramie Longhorn trim, but it's nice to see in the Rebel. Now, my test truck does have the Rebel 2 upgrade package, so it's kind of like a premium package that will probably roll in the stitching along the dash. You also have a fully digital 12.3-inch cluster here, where Ram basically allows you to put a very traditional dial look. You can also adjust it to do vehicle information, driver assistance, trip information. You can also put your GPS function in the display, so that's been nicely upgraded. The steering wheel itself on the Rebel is unique. You have the contrasting red stitching, red accents. It's like anodized red plastic accents. You have your buttons here to control that screen, to control the adaptive cruise control, which every Ram comes standard with adaptive cruise control with full speed range assist. That's standard on every trim. What is optional is a hands-free highway driving assist, which it'll give you like a little camera here. This model, as you can see, does not have it. The wheel itself has a manual tilt telescoping adjustment, good amount of adjustability and range. The horn, it sounds, pretty much nondescript and about what I expect considering the size of this truck. You can see over in the center stack here, however, the dash looks pretty much the same, but you also might notice that the screen here is now about 2.5 inches wider. So the base system is an 8.4-inch touchscreen that's up from 5 inches in the pre-refresh model. The optional one will be the 12-inch display, which is kind of like the mid system. And this right here is included in the Rebel 2 upgrade package. It's a 14.5-inch Uconnect 5 display. You can see it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The screen itself looks fantastic. Ram has really upped the quality of the resolution and just how quick the screen responds, which is fantastic. And if you want to go back to the native system here, you can see Uconnect 5 is definitely one of the easiest to use. And I will say that the speed of this system has definitely improved versus the earlier renditions of Uconnect 5. So really happy to see them improving that. You can see there's the embedded GPS. It's nothing super special looking. Most of you will probably just use the phone navigation anyways, where I had Google Maps pulled up. That was really nice. I love the fact that Ram includes hard buttons here, of course. You have volume knob and tuning knob. You have your transmission selector here. This controls the 8-speed auto with your 4-wheel drive system. You also have your rear axle locker over there. If I put the truck into reverse, you can see there's a full top-down 360 camera with multiple views where you can kind of view a trailer view, what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's to your side and whatnot. That's all going to be fantastic if you guys plan to go off-roading. The camera quality and resolution also very good. You're probably noticing it looks like it has like a red glare. That is from the camera. It's not actually on the screen. You don't see that when you're actually using the screen. Again, going to another display here, it's all very quick and very snappy and easy to use. Down here, you can see there are some controls for your trailer brake controller, which is in a hard control, and it also mimics onto the screen. You have your air suspension control here, parking sensors on and off switch. You have 6 USB charging ports, 3 USB-Cs and 3 USB-As. You have an HDMI port here. And then you have twin wireless phone chargers, which I thought initially that the twin wireless phone chargers was only on the tungsten trim, but it's nice to see that it's included on even the lower trims. You have a 400 volt power outlet there. You have some additional storage here. This little console slides forward and back, although your cup holders here and your additional storage, the higher trims will have kind of like a lid that covers up. It's also covered up in more wood. Nice padded center console area. If I open this up, you can see it's big, offers a good amount of storage. There's also a cool little Easter egg here. There's a nice little divider, and like I said earlier, you can slide this forward and back to give you more or less space in the actual console area. Now, the seats, they're covered in like a fake leather and a cloth material. They are comfortable and supportive. If I want to adjust the heated seat control, you can see it's over here. I'm sad to see that the cooled seats are not available on the Rebel trim. You also have 3-level heated steering wheel controls, which is nice, and the climate controls are also mimicked over here. A new addition this year is the passenger screen. So if I basically move over here to the passenger side, you can see there's a 10.25-inch display that's included when you guys go for the Rebel 2 upgrade package. You can basically control your stereo information, your GPS function. You can also plug in to the HDMI port an external audio source or video source over here to watch movies. And again, from my side here, you can't even see the screen because of that filter. You have to again move over here where the passenger can see that screen. If you don't have that, you basically have a little storage, a secondary glove box. Now, the regular glove box you can see is a bin style. It's stamped, but not lined with felt. It offers a decent amount of storage. The digital camera rearview mirror is, I believe, included with the technology package, which is also included, I think, in the Rebel 2 upgrade package. You have a cloth material for the headliner. This panoramic sunroof is optional. It opens up to vent air, and it also has a power retractable shade, which is nice. There's also a heads-up display. Wasn't expecting to find that. It's part of the tech package, as you can see. But overall, the interior is definitely, upgraded. I love the screens. I love the technology. The passenger screen seems a little bit like a gimmick. That's an industry first, but I just don't know how many people are actually going to order that option. But overall, even for a pre-production truck, Ram has done a fantastic job with making this interior feel extremely premium, even on this mid-trim. But let's go ahead and hop into the back seat, because this is where, again, Ram has it made compared to competitors, because the crew cab version that I'm showing you here, there's also a smaller quad cab, offers up to 45 inches of legroom. It's actually just under 45 inches. You can see that's where I have the seat to drive. This is the most space you're gonna find in the segment. It has roughly 2 to 3 more inches of legroom versus its competitors. You can see the two-tone seats carry over back here. You can also flip this up. There's a little bit of a storage box here, which is nice. And the seats back here are heated, which is also a nice touch. Materials back here, sadly, this is hard touch plastic, so it's not quite as nice as the front, but there's still leather and stitching, of course, throughout the rest of the door panel, in addition to storage cubbies. There's a nice little grab handle here to help short people like myself get into the truck. As I close the door, you can see just an absolute crap ton of space. Excuse my French, I didn't actually say it there. But basically, this is where I have the seat to drive. I can easily cross my legs. I can stretch out and get comfortable. The floor is completely flat, and all the crew cab versions have have a nifty feature, which actually I lied. So this trim here does not have the ability to have that recline function. So it's only on the higher trims. Before, on the other trims, you'll have like a little lever here where you can pull that allows you to basically recline the seat back. The Rebel, as you can see, does not have it, but you can still flip the seat up. Which is nice. You have rear seat air vents, USB charging ports, a power outlet. You can see heated seats, but no cooled seats. You can get that on other trims. And then if you fold this down, you can see there is an armrest that gives you 2 cup holders, but not additional storage. You find that again in other versions of the Ram. Surprised to see that there is still speakers up here in the ceiling. This window here also slides to that way to the passenger side to allow for ventilation. But overall, the back seat, if you guys are looking for the biggest back seat in the half-ton segment, you're going to be looking at the Ram 1500. So if you guys have always had your eye on a brand new Ram 1500, but you also didn't like the fact that the truck didn't have as much horsepower and torque as the other rivals, for 2024, it's pretty clear that Ram has rectified that with the new straight 6 twin turbo engine. I mean, with 420 horsepower in the standard output, this is, again, has more horsepower and torque versus the twin turbo V6s that you'll find in the Ford and in the in the Ford and in the Toyota Tundra. And it also has the same horsepower, but more torque versus what you find find in the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 that you find in the GMC Sierra and Chevrolet Silverado. It is a ton of power, and it also comes standard with an 8-speed automatic transmission, one of the best transmissions in the industry from ZF. In terms of the exterior styling, you can see it's a pretty light refresh. I do appreciate the more beefier off-road looks that you get with the Rebel package, from the all-terrain tires to the suspension lift to the unique front and rear bumpers to the unique front fascia as well. The interior on this truck also is very nice. I really love the fact that Ram still offers the 14.5-inch display on even the mid to lower trim vehicles, although again, if you guys want, you know, even a baser model, you still get an 8.4-inch screen or a 12-inch screen, which again, the 12-inch screen when it first debuted was one of the biggest screens in the industry, but then of course since then we've seen the industry move even bigger screens like 15.5-inch displays. So obviously screens just keep getting bigger and bigger. Sadly, I won't be able to show you guys how this truck drives in this video because we are under embargo. So make sure you guys set a little alarm on your phone or your calendar to come back on February 22nd at 12:01 a.m. So I wouldn't even recommend going to bed. I would just stay up and wait, because we will be uploading a review that shows a little bit more in-depth review on a tungsten trim, and we'll also be driving the straight six twin turbo engine in both the standard and the high output form. So we'll talk about how it drives there. Of course, today I won't be able to drive the truck to show you, how it drives because of the embargo. But again, the Rebel version here is definitely the beefiest looking truck. Now, sadly, I also don't have final pricing information just yet. Although I can tell you that you should be able to find these at your local Ram dealership by the end of March. You're gonna have to wait about a month and a half to get your hands on this truck. And in terms of base pricing, we can go ahead and speculate, because the current Ram 1500 starts at around $39,000. Obviously, this model here, with the additional equipment like the standard adaptive cruise control, the full LED headlights, which are now standard, or they're a partial LED, I would expect this truck to get more expensive considering the extra equipment. The Rebel version before was in the $60,000 range, but again, I would expect this truck to cost well over that considering the options that this model has, like the air suspension and the Rebel 2 upgrade premium package. It's gonna probably push this truck's price well over $70,000. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my first look overview on the 2025 Ram 1500 in this off-road oriented Rebel trim. If you're also looking to see the latest vehicles I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.